Hey, how are you? It's been a while since we've cooked in my kitchen. I'm Stephanie Hansen with stephaniesdish.com, and I had a free night, which those of you that know me are laughing. You're like, what? She had a free night? How did she have a free night? I did. And when I have a free night, I probably should be like watching Downton Abbey or something. But I have a new cookbook out. So I was like, maybe I'll do a live and we'll cook some things from the cookbook. Oops, Stanley Hardy needs to go out. So that's going to be part of it. Stanley's here in my kitchen. He's my dog. For those of you that might be new here, I'm Stephanie Hansen, and I am the food blogger at stephaniesdish.com. I also have a TV show called Taste Buds with Stephanie, where I cook on TV and visit places in the Midwest and learn about different produce and chefs and have all different kinds of experiences. And I also have a radio show on a local TV station here, or excuse me, radio station here, but it also airs as a podcast. And you can find that. It's called The Weekly Dish. And I'm just a home cook. I'm not a trained chef. I'm a home cook. And I just like to bring flavors and fun to you in the Midwest. So that's what we're going to do today. I have a new cookbook that's out. It came out in September. It's a volume 2. It's called the True North Cabin Cookbook, volume 2. Here it is. Volume 1 is May through September recipes. It takes you kind of through each month. And volume 2 starts in the cozy months because we're in the Midwest and it's getting cold out. This cookbook is October through September recipes. October through April. Sorry, getting my months wrong. So if you have both books, you would have 12 months of recipes from the Midwest that are tasty and delicious. And one of the things that I do in the books is I not only have main dishes and appetizers and baked goods and all the things, but I also like to have drinks because I think that's fun. And when you come to my house for a dinner party, the first thing that happens when you come in is we're going to have a signature cocktail or a mocktail to kind of get the festivities started. So that's what we're doing tonight. In November of the chapter, we have the Pomegranate Old Fashioned, and we're going to go ahead and make that together. And I came to whiskey kind of late in my life. It's not still my favorite drink of choice, but I've learned to appreciate it. And probably the learning about that has been from the local distilleries that I have visited and the different whiskeys that I've had. If you've ever had a chance, the Kentucky Bourbon Trail is super fun. I'd highly recommend it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start in a cocktail shaker, which I need to grab. And we are going to add some pomegranate seeds. We're going to add about a tablespoon. This is going to be a little bright, a little acidic, and very delicious. So to the pomegranate seeds, we're going to add 2 ounces pomegranate juice. I one time met this lady who owned these. She owned the cooperative and a bunch of pomegranate trees for Pom Wonderful. She was a really nice woman. So when I see her product now, I buy it. Okay. Excuse me for 1 second. I have taught my dog not to scratch at the door, but to ring the bell. And he's ringing his bells because he needs to go outside. Hang on. Come on, Stan. All right. He is on his way outside. So we've got our 2 ounces of pomegranate juice, our pomegranate seeds, and to that we're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of maple syrup. So just a tiny bit of sweetener. I don't even know how you measure a 1/4 teaspoon, but there it is. And then we're going to do 4 dashes of orange bitters. You can pick whatever your favorites are. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we've got 2 ounces of bourbon. And I've got a local maker here, my friend Gina from J. Carver Distillery. This is her rye whiskey. I usually have a lot of whiskey because we have whiskey drinkers in the house, but we must not have stocked up or someone came prior to the Halloween party and took care of all the whiskey because this is the only one I had. So this is what we're going with. Okay, I'm just going to finish that off. And then we're going to go ahead and give it a shake. And we're going to add our orange peel. I have kind of bigger cubes from a previous party that are in the refrigerator. So that's what we're using. When you're drinking straight whiskey, you usually use the big cube. I think when it's a mixed drink, you use whatever ice you have. All right, so let's just get this, shaken up a bit. I can never shake a cocktail shaker without spilling half of it, I swear. And maybe I need a new shaker. This one is feeling like it's very leaky. All right. Okay, I can't really get a good shake because I feel like it's leaking. So here we go. We're going to pour this in there. Looks really pretty. We have the pomegranate seeds. I'm going to just grab my handy dandy cocktail spoon and just kind of get this mixed up a little bit. All right, there you go. Super fun, very festive. Can you guys see that? Very autumnal, so great for like a Thanksgiving event. And let's taste her. Yum. It's I always talk about whiskey and I always think of my grandma because when I was a kid, I would eat the cherries out of her drink at the supper club. And at first I hated that taste. And for a long time I didn't drink whiskey because of it. But this is kind of what that tastes like with the cherry and the pomegranate flavor. It has that reminiscent of a cherry. It's real tasty. I like it. I'm gonna drink it. Okay. So that's our first recipe. The pomegranate old fashioned. I like it. It's fresh. It's autumnal. And I'm just going to move some things to the side here and we will keep on our adventure. All right. Now, my friend Jilly in Minnesota, she's great. She's like a live focus group for me. She always gives me ideas. My friend Joy does the same thing. And she was like, hey, next time you do a live cooking event, how about you tell us what you're going to make so we can cook with you? Very good idea, friends. I did not do that this time because I wasn't that organized, but I will try to do that again. One of the things, you guys are all on Substack watching. One of the things about Substack that I love is that it gets me closer to the audience, right? I feel like you guys are my friends. I think about you when I'm writing my newsletter on Sunday mornings. And when I'm thinking about what content you're looking for, I think about you. But the other thing that isn't the best is I feel like it's kind of a one-way street sometimes. It's like when I do my newsletter, there's a comment button or a message button. And I'm just going to microplane a little bit of garlic here for one of the recipes. And I think it's not super intuitive about how to communicate through Substack. So on my newsletters, you can always leave a comment. You can comment anything there. I read them all. There's also a notes feature, and Substack is trying to get a little bit in the social media space with notes. And so I do publish notes there, and you can comment on things there. You can always do Instagram or Facebook are a great way to connect with me. And if you have ideas or things you want me to cook or thoughts or you like the book or anything you want to say, I would love to hear it because the truth is, most of the time I'm sitting in my own kitchen or at my own desk writing recipes. It's a little lonely. You don't have that camaraderie of working with other people in a corporate setting. You're just usually by yourself. So I love to talk to you guys. Love to hear what you're doing. Love to hear what you're making. And I love it when people send me recipes of things that they want me to cook, or they'll send me pictures of things that they have cooked from my books. And it really gives me joy. One of the things I say about cooking with me is it's not fussy food. It's not going to be challenging. It's not hard, but it's just going to be tasty. And you're going to have good food that you can make for your family. So with that said, here's what we are making tonight. We are making my very easy roasted Brussels sprouts. And I already started them because they take about 30 minutes in the oven for step one. But what I did was I took Brussels sprouts, and if they're like this big, I cut them into quarters. If they're the little small ones, I cut them into half. And I tossed them with some olive oil and some salt, and I put them in my oven in a cast iron skillet. You could also cook them on the stovetop if you wanted. But these Brussels sprouts are so tasty and so easy, and they're perfect for entertaining. What I love about entertaining is I love to gather people from different walks of life, or people that don't know each other, or people that all have something in common. So I was saying this on my radio show. Everyone is so busy. I have a strategy for gathering. What I do is I plan about 2 months out, and I just figure out a date that I have open, and I usually will invite 12 people. Could be couples, could be single people. My next event is a gathering of food ladies, people in the food business. Some of them know each other, some of them don't. And I just basically say, this is the day. And I invite people. And then most people that are 2 months out can make it, right? So you get a lot of that back and forth doesn't have to happen of can you come, can you not come? And I can spend time thinking about what I want to cook. And it feels less pressure because I've got a lot of time to lead into it. I do this probably 3 or 4 times a year. I like to do brunches because they're super easy. Anyone can come to a brunch, but I'm doing a dinner coming up in a couple weeks in November just because I want to cook all the cozy fall things that I like to cook. But the moral of the story is entertaining is a great way to expand your community, to meet new people. It doesn't have to be fancy. You can order pizza, you can make frozen pizza and beer, you can have a crock pot gathering where everybody crocks something and you just lay them out on the table with some bowls. I just love the idea that as social media and as COVID, our worlds kind of got really small and shrunken. And most of my experiences in my life that I think have been the most meaningful have been when I've been with an open heart, with new people, new adventures. It's why I like to travel. It's why Kurt and I bought the van. We just can always find new adventures to be had, and it usually starts around the table with food. Jacques Pepin, who is a legend, his book, he has a memoir, and I want to say it's called The Art of Eating Well. And that's probably not right, but it's a great memoir. You should seek it out. He's 90 years old, and to celebrate his 90th birthday, the Jacques Pepin Foundation is encouraging people to entertain. I will put a link to the notes in the website. They've got invitations, they've got sample menus, basically this idea of gather because gathering's fun, and we hope you guys all do it. So here we are. We are going to be cooking the Brussels sprouts, which are in the oven. We're also going to be cooking something from my book that I'm real excited about, and it is these scallops. There is a dish at the Supper Club in Wisconsin, the same one where I used to eat my grandmother's cherries out of the drinks, that is a broiled scallop dish at a place in Waupaca, Wisconsin, and it's called Simpson's. It's an old-fashioned supper club. And these scallops, I just love them. And we've tried to get the recipe a million times. Someone thinks they have the recipe, but I don't think it's right. So I wanted to recreate that, and I endeavored to do that for the book. They are served in the book on a really easy rice dish, but it takes 45 minutes. So I'm not going to make it tonight. We're going to do a shortcut. But I want to tell you about the recipe because it's real easy and it's great to make for a party. So basically, this is the picture in the book. And what I would do is you make a risotto. And we're going to make risotto tonight, but we're going to do it in my Instant Pot because it's going to go a lot faster. Basically, you put the rice, the butter, the onions, the kosher salt, the pepper, the lemon juice. You put everything in a skillet and you cover it up with aluminum foil to seal it. And then you put it in the oven for 45 minutes. And what happens is all the liquid gets absorbed by the rice. And then to finish it, you quickly stir in lemon juice and Parmesan. So it's like an easy risotto version. This dish that I'm making with the scallops has a lot of butter. So having it served on the rice, like I did here, is awesome. And I have a couple of these pans. They're technically a paella pan from Dansk. I have small ones and I have large ones. For a big dinner party, I would make the risotto and I would probably make a double batch because it's only serves 4. I would make that right in a big paella pan. And then I would do the scallops and I would serve all of that in one big platter on the top. So because I can't do that tonight because I didn't have time to do all the rice in the oven, we're going to do an Instant Pot risotto. And this takes 5 minutes. Now, it's kind of like the Rachel Ray 5 or 30-minute meals where they didn't factor in like some of the cooking time. So we have a little bit of that happening here too. But suffices to say, it's a really easy way to get dinner on the table if you want rice. So we're going to make just like a plain lemony rice that's going to go underneath our scallops. So let's get this started. If you don't have an Instant Pot, it's fine. You can use another pressure cooker or you can not use a pressure cooker at all. I love my Instant Pot. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of move it into the frame here. So just a little bit of arranging. Hang on. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the manual, or excuse me, on the saute setting. What's great about the Instant Pot is it is a pressure cooker, but it's also a slow cooker. So you can really do a lot of things with it. And you know how when you're making slow cooker recipes, they have you like brown the meat? Well, you can do all that in one pot here. You don't have to mess up a different pot. It's all happening inside your Instant Pot. So I've put about a tablespoon of butter. I also have some olive oil in there. And we're just going to saute, let that come up to temperature. And then we're going to saute our rice for about 3 minutes. And I'm making a half a recipe. This recipe is at stephaniesdish.com, and I'll put that in the notes too. I'm making a half a recipe just because I'm the only one that's going to be eating tonight and I don't want to waste food. So I've got a little bit of olive oil, the butter, and I'm going to make a half a cup of rice. And I've got about a third of a cup of diced onions, a couple of minced garlic cloves. They're real small today. And that's what we're going to use to flavor our rice. And it will be something that I can serve my scallops on. While that's coming up to temp and getting to where I can cook the rice, I'm going to just check on the Brussels sprouts that are already in the oven. Oh yeah, we're cooking along great. So you can see they have caramelized bits. They're just plain. They're in the cast iron skillet there. They've got some brown bits and they're getting a little bit caramelized. And this is exactly what I want. You can do this again on the stovetop or you can do it in the oven. But the next thing I'm going to show you is the game changer. Buy yourself some fig jam. This happens to be the Stonewall Kitchen fig jam. You can also use orange marmalade if you have some of that. You could use apricot jam. Whatever you're feeling is the jam you're going to use. And what you're going to do is just use about a tablespoon of jam. And you're going to throw it right in there. You're going to go ahead and you're going to toss Brussels sprouts with the jam. Another thing you could use is something that people aren't super familiar with, but it's super delicious. It's a pomegranate syrup. They use it a ton in the Middle East. I'm bringing folks to Turkey in April, and I bet we'll see a lot of pomegranate syrup. If you'd like more information about the trip is happening, and we are going to be collecting payments for it by January 1st, but it's going to be a small group trip of about 12 of us. Okay, so my butter is really cooking here, so I'm going to turn my saute off. Got my jam. I'm going to add my rice. I'm just going to get all of my rice and my onions cooking on my saute feature in my Instant Pot. And this would just be like you're cooking it in the skillet on the stove, right? Okay, I'm going to turn my timer off. And we'll finish our Brussels sprouts once we get these going. Okay, so the onions are being sauteed. My arboreal rice is getting sauteed with that butter, olive oil. I'm going to add my garlic clove. And I'm going to add a cup and a half of chicken broth, some salt, and some pepper. And I'm going to go ahead and secure my pot. And it's going to cook for 5 minutes. Now, when it says 5 minutes, it has to come up to temperature. I'm just going to measure in here. That's about a cup and a half. And I'm going to add a little bit of salt, some pepper, and I'm going to get my lid on. And that is all for my 5-minute risotto. Just kind of stirring to make sure all the rice is down in the liquid. And I'm going to turn my pot on. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more liquid. I want to make sure that all of my rice is covered by liquid. I'm going to seal my top, and I've got a plastic silicone liner in there. Make sure that's adhered. I'm going to seal my top. I'm going to make sure that this is set to sealing. You can see that. And I'm going to go ahead and I have to turn this off to turn it back on again. That's the one feature that I don't love. But it's going to be on manual. Come on, I gotta change it. Come on. Okay, here we go. I'm going to do it on manual for 5 minutes. Now, it's going to take longer than 5 minutes because the pot has to come up to temp. But when it does, it's going to start spitting. And that's the part that people get scared about. So I'm going to leave this kind of to the side so that when that happens, you guys can watch with me. All right. In the meantime, we're going to finish our Brussels sprouts. I put the pomegranate syrup. I've got the fig jam. And I use the pomegranate syrup just because I have it and I like it. You could just go straight with the fig jam. You could add balsamic if you want to. So I'm just sort of stirring these in. And I'm just going to put this in the oven for like 5 minutes more so that it can finish and that jam can get all caramelized in here. And that's how you make quick and easy Brussels sprouts. I'm going to turn my timer on. Brussels sprouts are something too I eat at room temperature. A lot of times I make them before people come. I think they still taste great. You do you. Okay, so we have our risotto cooking. We've got our drink. We've made our Brussels sprouts. Those are going to be finished. Let us finish with our scallop dish or get it started. Okay, so we are making broiled scallops. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a 1/4 cup of butter in our pan. And we are going to put our scallops in a bag with a bunch of seasoning and we are going to shape it. We are also going to add a 1/4 cup of cooking wine. Now, if I was having a dinner party, I would just use whatever white wine I'm serving. I'm not having a dinner party tonight, so I don't have any white wine open. So I'm using cooking wine. And you're going to use a 1/4 cup. Just want to make sure that it's a 1/4 cup. Yes, it is. That's about a 1/4 cup. You're also going to have about a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. My friend Joy, that I was talking about earlier, she saw me on one of my episodes crush a citrus juicer. So she bought me what she says is the ultimate juicer. This is my first time using it. So Joy, if you're watching, we'll see. She says it's just like the Bomb Diggity and it's way better than the other ones. Okay. See our pot steaming, coming up to temp, and it started going and steam's coming out. And there's a little mechanism inside that popped up. And now all the pressure is inside the Instant Pot and it's building pressure to cook it. Ooh, this is pretty great. So I need a 1/4 cup of lemon juice, which is generally about a lemon. So we've got the white wine in here, the lemon juice, and I've got a hunk of butter. I'm going to go ahead and stick this in the oven to melt with my Brussels sprouts. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, I've always wanted to say that, I'm going to put some flour in a bag. I have a 1/2 cup. I've also got some seasoned salt. You can use like a Lowry's if you'd like. I have some paprika, not smoked, just regular. And I have some pepper. and I have some salt. And I'm going to just shake all that up in my bag. This is going to be the seasoning for my scallops. I didn't really measure my flour. I probably should have, but it looks like I've got enough in there. Okay. I want to show you the scallops that I bought. Just sea scallops, bought them at Fresh Time. You can get better scallops from your fishmonger. I didn't have time. They also have them at Whole Foods. The key to the scallops is you thaw them out, and then you want to make sure that they're dry. So I just squeeze them a tiny bit in a paper towel before I throw them in the bag, just to release any moisture, because that's going to help them caramelize in the butter sauce. So again, just kind of patting them, squeezing them, getting any extra moisture out of them that I can. I never cooked scallops or fish at home for the longest time. And now I love doing it for dinner parties because honestly, cooking like a whole side of salmon or a bunch of fish at the last minute that you're just broiling is very easy. You can make all your sides ahead. You can have a nice, big, generous fall salad, and your dinner party almost makes itself. A lot of what people stress out about at dinner parties is just the last minute, like everything having to be ready at the right time. And if you just do a little preparation in advance, you're kind of gaming the system. All right. I live in the city, but I also live in an oak forest in the city in Minneapolis. And at night in the fall, there's a lot of critters out there. So Stanley is always alerting me to that a possum might be out there, a raccoon. We have turkeys. Okay. Our Brussels sprouts are done. Just going to set those here to cool. My butter in my dish in there is not fully melted, so I'm just going to give that another minute. Still putting my scallops in my bag here, my shake and bake bag. Is that a Ricky Bobby line? Shake and bake. Once I get these scallops all ready to go, they're going to broil for 4 to 6 minutes, so it's not going to take long. I want to check on our risotto. You can see in the risotto that if you can see the timer here, it started out at 5 minutes because it's 5-minute instant risotto, and it's now down to 2 minutes. So we're going to let it pressure cook for 5 minutes. And then when it's done, I'm going to give it a quick stir in some lemon juice, some Parmesan cheese, and kind of give it that nice risotto finish. All right, so we have our scallops in our shake and bake bag. And I'm just shaking them, baking them, getting them all coated with the flour and the seasoning mixture. Okay. I'm going to take my pan out of the oven that has the melted butter. I usually do this facing my oven or putting it on top of the oven. I'm going to face you. And we're going to go ahead and put the scallops in our pan. Okay, that's our Instant Pot telling me that our rice is ready. Once something comes up to temperature and it's done, it starts to do what's called a natural release. And it goes back and it starts counting like L001. And some recipes will have you do like 5 minutes of natural release. All that means is that once it's done, you let it come up to temperature or come down in temperature and pressure for however many minutes of the natural release. This recipe doesn't need natural release time. I'm just not ready to deal with my risotto yet because I've got my scallops going. So I'm just going to let it sit in there a minute. It'll be fine. All right. So I've got my scallops in the butter. Now we're going to spoon some butter over each floury scallop. Hopefully you can see that. This is the wine, the butter. And we're going to put these under the broiler for 4 to 6 minutes. And a lot of that timing just depends on the size of the scallops you're using. These are pretty big, so I imagine we'll be in there for at least 5 minutes. All right. My broiler's on high. I'm going to take a minute just to show you our beautiful Brussels sprouts here. They're glossy. They've got that jam on them. Yum. Perfectly tender. Those are delicious. All right. These scallops are ready to go under the broiler here. When you're broiling, make sure that your oven rack is close to the broiler because it needs to be close to that heat source to broil. So I'm going to grab Stanley because he's just barking at something outside. Then we're going to stir our risotto and get ready for our scallops to be done. Hang tight. Come on, Stanley. Come on. Inside. Inside. Yeah, those possums don't care about you. Okay, so we are going to stir in some Parmesan cheese into our risotto. I'm going to get a different spoon. I'm going to come to the side here. And before you can open the Instant Pot, you have to release the steam. I don't know how much steam is in there, if any, because it's already been natural releasing for a while. Oh yeah, there is some. So I just release the steam. The Instant Pot won't let me open it until all the steam has been released. It's a very safe mechanism to use. I'm going to stir in a little bit of Parmesan cheese. The recipe, I think, calls for a 1/4 cup. I made a half a recipe. This is really, so easy to do. That was easily 10 minutes total from beginning to end. I'm stirring in my cheese. I'm going to add just a tiny bit of lemon juice. I love lemon. And actually, I'm going to do a little zest too. Okay. And a little juice. Going to use the juicer here that is quickly becoming a fave. Thank you, Joy. And just get that stirred up a little bit. All right. I'm going to show you how delicious this risotto is. Can you see? Can you see? It's so good. It's already done. Looks delicious. So, going to just put my lid on that warm. I'm going to scooch it over. I've got my rice done. Now I'm just waiting for my scallops to be done. Cheers. And then I have a tiny surprise at the end that I'm going to show you. All right, just checking on my scallops. Oh, yeah, they already look so good. They're not done, but they look amazing. Okay, so 2 more minutes on the scallops. I want to show you another recipe from the True North Cabin Cookbook. And this one I made on the Jason Show on TV today. Pecan bars. If you are someone that can't make pie crust, this is the recipe for you. And I actually had 3 people tell me today, and I've kind of thought this, but I've never said it out loud. These might even be better than pie. So it's a press-in shortbread crust. And you guys, look at that ambrosia. It's full of brown sugar, the corn syrup. It's got pecans laid in the top. It's got this really delicious shortbread crust. They're great for a potluck, great for people that can't do pie crust. When it's done, you cook the crust for like 20 minutes. Then you pour the ingredients on the top of the crust. Then you lay the pecans one by one by one by one in cute little rows. And then you flake Maldon sea salt all over the top. So it's like a salty, delicious, shortbready, caramely bite. These are so good. Everyone in the office loves them. If you are someone that's afraid of pie, this is your best friend. They are the pecan pie bars. They're in the True North Cabin Cookbook, but the recipe is also published today on stephaniesdish.com. Not only do you want to make it, but you want to share it with your friends that are having angst about Thanksgiving. Right now, on my website, I have 50 recipes of Thanksgiving goodness. Sides, delicious salads, desserts. We made a punch on Jason's show today that can be served alcoholic or non-alcoholic. It's great for a party. And I'm just going to put my little bar over here. I think our scallops are done. So let us get them out of the oven. Okay. They are very roasty and toasty. I'm going to go ahead and just give it a feel with my finger. I can tell based on how firm the scallops are that they're done. Some of the bigger ones are a little ooey, so I may just go in like 1 more minute because the bigger ones are a little soft still. Okay. And that is it. So I should probably dish up a plate so you can see what everything's going to look like, right? We've got a plate here. We'll go ahead and we'll get some risotto. It's going to look real pretty. I got these plates in Italy. They have cute little fish on them. So we've got our risotto there. I'm going to cut a little bit of lemon, squeeze over the top. I'm also going to grab a little parsley just because my rice looks a little naked and white. You know the trick about keeping your herbs in the mason jars, right? And they last forever. I've had this parsley at least 8 days. Still looks brand new. You put in water and seal it up and put it in the fridge. This one, I didn't even have water in it because I was at the TV station when I put it back and I forgot. And again, it's going on 8 days. Just that hermetically sealed environment is great. Okay. Scallops are for sure done now. Look at that. All that buttery goodness. Now, if I was making this for a dinner party, I would have my big rice ready. I would lay my scallops down. I would pour my sauce over it, and it would be a one-pot masterpiece. In this instance, I'm just going to spoon it over my little dish here for my dinner. You guys, this has been real fun. If you want to find the True North Cabin Cookbook, you can find it at Amazon or at your favorite bookstore. It is pretty much everywhere. A little greens here. If you want to find Taste Buds with Stephanie, you can watch all the episodes at stephaniesdish.com. We also have a YouTube channel called Taste Buds with Stephanie where they're all linked. And the recipes all come from stephaniesdish.com. So you can find the recipes for the show there. I also have a YouTube cooking channel just called Stephanie's Dish. You can watch other recipes there. All right. Gonna go ahead and just put a little bit of that butter, wine sauce over my rice. I mean, this is looking delightful. Not dietetic, but delightful. A little lemon juice. All right, you guys. This is my scallops with my 5-minute Instant Pot risotto with the delicious butter sauce. I'm going to finish my Pomegranate Old Fashioned. And then I'm going to finish watching the Great British Bake Off and eat my pecan butter. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting my Substack. Thank you for supporting my work in general. I am super grateful. I love what I do. It's super fun, and you guys make it all possible. So from me and Stanley, I just want to say good night. I hope you try these recipes, and if you do, send me a picture. I'm always delighted. I hope you have a great evening, and thanks for watching.